If you think chocolate is getting worse, you're not imagining it. Your favorite bars are smaller, the ingredients are cheaper, and the prices are higher than ever. Today, we're breaking down 8 popular chocolate products in supermarkets that aren't what they used to be. And at the end, I'll show you better options to look for. But even those come with warnings. Chocolate used to be simple. Cocoa, cocoa butter, sugar, milk. But over the last decade, supermarket chocolate has changed, slowly, quietly, and deliberately. Rising cocoa prices forced manufacturers into a choice: raise prices honestly, or protect profits by shrinking products and lowering ingredient quality. Most chose the second option. That's how we ended up with familiar wrappers hiding smaller bars, cheaper fats, and products that barely meet chocolate standards anymore. Once you see the pattern, it's impossible to ignore. Let's start with the bar that fooled an entire generation. Number 1, the Mars bar. Death by shrinkflation. If you grew up in the 90s, the Mars bar wasn't a snack. It was a weapon. Back then, a Mars bar was 60 grams or more. Dense, heavy, filling. It felt like a meal. Today, the Australian Mars bar has been shrunk to 47 grams. That's over a 20% reduction, quietly done over 2 decades. And here's the part that really stings. Mars claims this wasn't about profit. They say it was done for public health, to help reduce calorie intake. That's not health awareness. That's health washing. Instead of improving ingredients, instead of reducing sugar, instead of using higher quality cocoa, they just sell you less product for the same or higher price. Even worse, shrinking the bar destroys what made it special. A Mars bar relies on balance: chocolate, caramel, nougat. When the bar gets smaller, the chocolate layer thins, the caramel loses its chew, the nougat becomes dry and forgettable. What you're left with is a snack-size bar pretending to be full-size, charging full-size money. And that brings us to the most dangerous time of year for chocolate buyers. Number 2, Easter eggs, the biggest chocolate scam. Easter eggs look impressive. They feel festive. They feel premium. They are none of those things. Easter eggs are some of the worst value chocolate you can buy. Most are thin-shelled, over-aerated, made with lower cocoa content, designed to look big while weighing almost nothing. That massive egg in the box? It's often less chocolate than 2 blocks. And manufacturers know it. Easter allows brands to lower quality without scrutiny, inflate packaging, charge emotional pricing. Parents aren't buying chocolate. They're buying tradition. And brands exploit that sentiment ruthlessly. But the real trick isn't just Easter. It's how premium brands earn your trust. Number 3, Cadbury. Dairy milk shrinkflation normalized. Cadbury dairy milk is woven into Australian culture. The purple wrapper is instantly recognizable. But the block you buy today isn't the one you grew up with. In 2015, a family block weighed 220 grams and sold for around $3.50. Today, it weighs 180 grams and can sell for up to $8. That's an 18% reduction in size, paired with a dramatic price increase. Cadbury points to rising cocoa costs, and those costs have increased. But the real issue is transparency. The packaging barely changed. The block looks the same. Most shoppers never noticed they were paying far more for far less. When the biggest chocolate brand in the country gets away with that, it sets the tone for the entire aisle. Number 4, Kit Kat. The art of shrinkflation. Kit Kat has quietly become one of the clearest examples of shrinkflation in Australia. In early 2025, it was confirmed that the standard 4-finger Kit Kat bar was reduced from 45 grams to 42 grams. That might not sound like much, until you remember that not long ago it weighed 50 grams. Same wrapper, same shape, same price, often $2.50 or more. That's a hidden price rise without changing the shelf label. The biggest cut, however, hit fun size and share packs. Those bars dropped from 17 grams to 14 grams, a 17% reduction in one move. Nestle blamed rising cocoa and sugar costs. Shrinkflation works because you instantly notice price hikes, but you don't weigh your chocolate bar before eating it. Brands rely on familiarity while quietly eroding value. You're paying full price for a smaller break. When you see words like Master Chocolatier, Swiss Tradition, crafted, your brain switches off. You assume quality. But branding is not ingredients. Many so-called premium chocolates rely on vegetable fats fillers, texture agents, cost-cutting shortcuts hidden in fine print, which leads us to a brand people think is always safe. Number 5. Kohl's Easy Melt Buttons, not actually chocolate. These sit right next to real chocolate in the baking aisle. They look like chocolate. They're marketed as chocolate, but they aren't. Kohl's Easy Melt Buttons were reformulated, replacing cocoa butter with hydrogenated palm oil. Cocoa content sits at just 6%. That places them firmly in the category of compound chocolate. In baking, the difference is obvious. They don't melt smoothly. They feel greasy. They won't temper or set properly. You're not melting chocolate, you're melting chocolate-flavored oil. Number 6. Low cocoa dark chocolate blocks. Dark chocolate sounds healthier, richer, less sugar, more cocoa. But not all dark chocolate earns that label. Some supermarket bars marketed as dark contain as little as 45% cocoa solids, with sugar still dominating the ingredient list. That's barely darker than milk chocolate. True dark chocolate lists cocoa mass first and sugar second. The difference in flavor, texture, and satisfaction is enormous. If you're choosing dark chocolate for health or richness, ignore the marketing. Read the percentage. Number 7. Lindt, better option. But be careful. Lindt markets itself as the gold standard. And to be fair, sometimes it earns that reputation. Their 70% and 85% dark chocolate blocks are generally excellent. But Lindt benefits from something called a halo effect. You trust the brand because of the dark chocolate, so you assume everything else is just as pure. It's not. Check the labels on white chocolate Lindor balls, filled products. You'll often find vegetable fats, including coconut oil, palm kernel oil. Real white chocolate is simple. Cocoa butter, sugar, milk solids. That's it. Palm kernel oil is used because it's cheap. It mimics the melt of cocoa butter at a fraction of the cost. So when you're paying premium prices, you're not always paying for premium ingredients. Lindt isn't bad, but you must audit each product individually. Which brings us to a brand that tried to fix one big problem. Number 8. Darryl Lea, the ethical, complicated one. Darryl Lea made headlines by removing 100% of palm oil from their range. That matters. Palm oil farming destroys habitats and threatens wildlife. Replacing it with sunflower oil was a real environmental win. But here's the catch. Palm oil-free does not mean filler-free. Many Darryl Lea products, especially filled eggs, soft centers, chocolate balls, still rely on vegetable oils to create texture and reduce cocoa butter use. Sunflower oil is better than palm oil, but it's still an oil used to cut costs. So here's the truth. Darryl Lea blocks, good choice. Filled products, still processed. It's a reminder that ethics and ingredient quality aren't always the same thing. Chocolate isn't ruined, but you must read labels. Because the truth is never on the front of the box. It's always in the fine print on the back. You don't need to quit chocolate. You just need to choose it wisely. Flip the bar over. Check the ingredients. Look for cocoa butter, real percentages, and honest labels. If this video changed how you see the chocolate aisle, give it a like so more people see it. Subscribe for more deep dives into everyday foods hiding in plain sight. And tell us in the comments what you want to see next.